Hello, you guys. Testimony of the Lord Jesus Christ. I was sitting here watching videos about it's just journals of people and their hiking trips, and I'm just kind of missing going on adventures outside of the state that I live in. So I've really been enjoying listening to other people's journal writings about the hikings, hiking and stuff that they experienced. But anyway, it reminded me of a hike that I went on with a guy named Braden. So we were out in the Four Corners area. Me and this guy, he was a friend that I met when I worked at Mesa Verde. And anyway, so we were out in the Four Corners area and we were looking for Indian dwellings. And throughout the drive and the hike and the day, I was talking to Braden about Jesus. And I was still a babe in Christ, and I was still struggling with smoking marijuana and partying and stuff like that. But I was still like coming back to Jesus. I would still let people know that Jesus is the only way. And he was very like, he would mock God, and I'd be like, you better be careful, you better not do that. And he would mock God in a way of like, oh, well, I can be a god. I can make clouds disappear and I can make clouds reappear and stuff like that. And in one hand, I'm not sure he was saying that we can be gods and that we can do these things and make clouds appear and make clouds disappear. And anyway, just things like that. And so long story short, I remember sitting down on the canyon side with him saying, look, you're not God. You can't do these things. And Jesus is the only way. So long story short, that's what I ended up telling him. And he would just continue to argue with me, or what about this God? What about that God? What about Buddha? What about this? What about that? And so anyway, I was like, well, I don't know what else to tell you other than that. And I would give him testimonies about how God would protect me from bears and moose and wolves and things like that, and how I'd get lost on a trail and God would tell me how to get back on a trail. Mind you, this is when I'm a babe in Christ, when I'm still struggling with marijuana and partying and things like this, and God was still there for me. It was amazing how God protected me out on these trails in the canyons, mountains, valleys, hills, whatever, because I've been to blessed to go to a lot of beautiful places in the United States. So anyway, so we get going down this trail, and he had brought his camera with him, and we ended up getting to this Indian dwelling site. Before we go down to this Indian dwelling site, we can see off in the distance that there's lightning and that this storm's coming. And it looked really bad. And I remember telling him that God would tell me when to go, when to leave, when to go right, left on trails, stuff like that. And we both looked at the storm, and we kind of looked at each other like, should we still go down in the canyon to this Indian dwelling because the storm is getting ready to hit? And I said, it's okay. God will let us know when we need to leave. So we go down there, we take pictures, we're hanging out, everything's great. We get out of the canyon, back onto the trail, and Braden's like, oh no, I left my camera. I gotta go back for my camera. God told me, no, don't go back, or you're gonna get stuck down in this canyon with the rain and the hail and the lightning this was a really bad desert storm. And so I told him, I said, I'm not going back down there. And he's like, well, why? I said, because God told me not to. And he was like, well, I got to go back and get my camera. I said, all right, I'll meet you at the car. I said, but I'm not going back down there. He said, all right, fine. So we separated on the trail. He went back down to get his camera. I went to my car. So I'm kind of walking on the trail. He knows how to get back to the car. And so I'm kind of walking on the trail. And it starts lightning behind me. And it starts hailing, little pea-sized hails behind me. God said, you better you better pick up the pace or you're going to get caught in the storm. So I start kind of fast walking. Okay, start fast walking. Lightning starts hitting around me a little bit. Close. And I'm literally walking on quartz crystal. So lightning is like ba-boom, 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 like all around me. It's really close. And it was amazing. Like, this lightning was making this quartz crystal like glow. I can't describe it to you. Anyway, and so I'm kind of like, all right, this is kind of scary. Like, literally the quartz is starting to glow because of the lightning flashing and just the electricity in the ground that this storm is creating. And it starts to hail bigger pieces of hail behind me. And God told me, he said, run. So I start running. And I'm not kidding you. Hail about this size, okay, good golf ball size, is falling behind me. I can hear it hitting the trees and the ground, and lightning is just behind me. And I am running, and I'm running, and I'm running. And I'm telling you, I barely get to my car in time. I shut my door, get into my car, I shut my door, and immediately after I shut my door, my car gets slammed with hail. Lightning is just all around my car, and I'm just like so scared. I'm shaking. It was so scary, you guys. I was scared, and I was shaking. And by the time I caught my breath, I was completely out of breath, sweating because I was running. And I was so scared, and I was sweating and shaking and crying a little bit. And by the time I caught my breath and got myself together, I realized, oh no, Braden's out there. And all I could do was pray. I was like, oh God, please. I was like, oh, please, Lord, get him back to my car. Please get him back to my car. Please get him back to my car. And I'm sitting in my car praying for my friend. And this storm goes on for maybe 5 minutes. And it was just a desert, mountain desert storm. Desert mountain storm. And then all of a sudden, as I'm praying in the middle of prayer, my friend's like, let me in. And I let him in, and he is covered from head to toe in like clay dirt. If you've ever been to the Four Corners area, out where Mesa Verde is, out where I was out at Painted Hand. That's where we were. You can look it up. And anyway, we were out at Painted Hand, and if you've ever been out there, it is clay. So when it gets wet, it's slippery. And anyway, so he was slipping all in the mud, was covered in clay dirt from head to toe. He gets in my car, and he tells me about how he was out there and that this storm was so bad he couldn't see where he was going. He got lost, and he literally held on to a tree, and he said that lightning was all around him, which lightning was all around me too when I got in the car. And that he cried out to the Lord, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. God, please help me. And I asked God if he wanted me to share this testimony. And he said yes. He said, but you make sure you say this one thing if you share this. I will not be mocked. And I will never forget that time with Braden. And I don't think Braden will ever forget it either. He still talks to me occasionally every other year like, hey, how you doing? Because I don't think he'll ever forget that. He'll never forget that. And that is how powerful Jesus is. That's how powerful God is. And I have seen God do so many powerful things that there's no way in my mind or in my heart that I would ever say that he's not real. I have been protected from bears, wolves, moose, been put back on trails, asking God for help, God sending birds to help me get back onto. God will tell me, follow that bird that's flying. And then, all of a sudden I'm back on the trail that I needed to get back on. Like, God will protect you. He will fight for you. He will tell you what you need to do. He will tell you where to go. He will tell you not where to go. He has proven it to me time and time and time and time and time and time again. God is faithful. But you got to make sure that you're sticking with him. You're listening to him. And he will have mercy on you. A lot more mercy than you think. Because I'm telling you, I did not deserve the mercy that God gave me when I was partying and fornicating and smoking weed, but God had mercy on me. And I thank the Lord that he had mercy on me. And it has made me be the strong Christian that I am today. Only God can do that. And I'm telling you, when I quit smoking weed, and I quit fornicating, and I quit doing all these things, it's become a lot closer. A lot easier to hear what he says. A lot better. A lot more powerful. A lot just better. And I just want to encourage you to stick with Jesus. He's faithful. He has mercy. His mercy is in abundance. But just make sure that you're coming closer and closer and closer to him. Because you don't want to just do the bare minimum and hope that God wants me to say this. There come a point in time where God said, party time's over. It's either me or your partying lifestyle. And I'm telling you, if I didn't choose Jesus, I would have quit hearing his voice. I would have quit getting the protection. I would have quit getting all the blessings and mercy that he provided for me. So I'm telling you, choose this day whom you will serve. Thus saith the Lord. He's speaking to me powerfully right now. Choose this day whom you will serve. Because I'm telling you, he only let me do that for a period of time. And when it came to the point where party time was over, I had to choose. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of believers coming up here soon. You're either going to choose God or you're going to choose whatever it is that you're struggling with. And I'm telling you, there's not time. Party time's over. Choose this day whom you will serve before it's too late. I love you all. God bless you. Take care.